Welcome to episode 17 of the Discovery Within podcast, where we explore the depths of self discovery and personal growth. I'm your host, Tiarra Denise.
And I'm your co host, LJ the Peacemaker. And welcome to episode 17, where we're going to be talking about listen to your body, it knows best. Now, this is definitely a timely topic because I know that I've been really having to listen to my body lately. And I know that you've been sharing with me that you've been experiencing the same. So I can't wait to really just share our perspectives and talk about it. And
Yes,
pardon the background noise.
yes, this is very timely. And we said that about all our episodes because we plan them, we come up with them, and then you're like, I don't know how this gonna click, but then something always happens that lets us know that we're in alignment and this conversation needs to be had. And yes, we're gonna dive into it today, talking about your body and listening to it. It's like your first line of defense, and I think sometimes we don't necessarily listen and pay attention to the signals and things that our body gives us when it's time for us to just take a moment to rest, recharge, connect with ourselves until something happens. So let's talk about it. I know for me today, I actually went and got a checkup because for both of us, we're both coaches, and for me, I'm teaching self discovery, getting women to know themselves on a deeper level, thriving in their authenticity, and finding that balance so that they can create a life of joy, fulfillment. And it's like I'm teaching them, but I have to make sure that I'm upholding what it is that I'm teaching. So with that, you have to practice what you preach. But for me this week, I had to, kind of like slow it down for these past few weeks and sit there and listen to my body. Because in this time that we're growing up, hustle culture is a thing and it has a lot of people in the chokehold because we live in a capitalistic society. You gotta work if you want to keep a roof over your head, you want to keep food in your mouth, feed your family, feed yourself, all that. So it's like that constant pressure to just keep going and not really slowing down, especially for us as entrepreneurs and stuff. We can get caught up in that whole hustle culture. You gotta go, no days off, stuff like that. And not even realizing how detrimental that mentality can really be to one's body. It doesn't matter how efficient you are, how much energy you have, there has to be some type of balance in that so that you're making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So for me, me and you had spoke about this off of here, and I was telling you how I had been feeling, low on energy. And I'm usually a high energy person. I'm always doing something. I'm always upbeat on the go and stuff. But it's like recently my body was slowing me down. Having dizziness and really didn't have that oomph to just get up and do the things that I normally do. Now, mind you, I got a 2-year-old son that's in the home with me. I run a business from home. I'm thinking I'm doing all right. I'm going. And my body is like, it's like, how did this happen? It's like I was steady trying to go when my body was screaming, girl, sit your down. And that's what happens when you don't listen to your body. Your body will say, okay, I got something for you. And it'll sit you down. So that's why this conversation is going to be very important so that we can avoid, those times, when our body is talking and speaking to us and we're not listening. So went in today, I'm actually feeling pretty good, because I've been forced to sit with myself and just rest and just slow it down for a bit and do a little bit but not do so much that it's straining my body. So it forced me to just sit down and just be calm. And then it helped me to do inventory introspection to figure out what's going on, what is my body trying to tell me and stuff. And so that's been truly a gift in itself to just be able to do that. So this topic is going to be very near and dear to a lot of us because I know it is for me, you know. But I'm gonna let you speak because I don't know
Yes,
if that same experience is me, but
I
I'll let you.
Absolutely. I mean, like you, these last several weeks, I want to say 3 weeks or so, have been really, really intense for me. I've been very, very tired, and I'm really having to listen to my body and pay close attention to what I'm exerting energy on. Like, recognizing, okay, you don't have unlimited energy every day. You have to really prioritize. And so, like, my kids went back to school 3 weeks ago. So that was like a tremendous shift in the schedule, from summer to like now to this regimented routine. um it was an intense shift, and granted, it's like, okay, my kids are not just starting school for the first time. My son is in fifth grade. My daughter, she's a junior in high school. It's like, I've done this before. You've done back to school before, but this year it's really just hitting different. And so, I've had to accept, like, this shift in the schedule and in the utilization of my energy is really, really making me tired. And so I got to figure out how to proceed. And so, as I expressed to you, throughout the summer, I was working so hard on my coaching business. And due to not necessarily having the structure of school and everything else in the way, I was left to like really go hard, to go real hard. And so now my body is like, you can't do that. Like, you can't do that right now. That's it. You're focusing on your children. There's not enough energy for you to focus so hard as you were. And so I'm really having to listen and restructure and reprioritize and really pay attention to what it is I'm doing, because I would get my kids off to school. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm exhausted. And I'm like, why am I so exhausted? I don't have anything left for the whole day. And I was really left to look at myself. It's like, okay, first of all, to get the kids off to school, like my daughter has to be at her bus at 7 a.m. for to get to school. So I get up around 5:15 ish. So that's already an early morning. From the moment I get up, I'm going, making preparations, making sure they got everything they need, making sure everything is in place. Then I always be trying to do extra stuff. So it's like, okay, no wonder you're exhausted by 9 a.m. Because not only are you getting the kids ready for school and doing the things they need, you trying to do 3 loads of laundry, you trying to sweep and mop the floor, you trying to do all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, you're exhausted because you just put in a full day's work. You know what I mean? And then you looking around wondering why you can't do nothing else for the day. And it's like, I had to check myself because granted, that is what I was doing. And it's like my body was telling me you're doing too much. And so part of me felt like, why? These are all my responsibilities. I'm maximizing the time. I'm making the most of it, doing as much as I can. And it's like, no, you doing too much. So, I really had to like revamp what I'm doing, make sure that days that I'm scheduling in work meetings and things of that nature, that I'm not trying to do all this extraness in the morning, get up, get the kids to school, and then even take a nap if necessary. So that way I'm energized. Like today, I had a couple meetings. I made sure after the kids got off to school, I took a nap because I knew, okay, I'm going to have to show up in front of people, present, and then come on here as well. So it's like I need to make sure that I'm showing up how I want to, well rested, and the way that I want to present. And so it's like really listening to my body because my body is telling me you're tired. And oftentimes we don't recognize that there is insight and wisdom that our body has to share with us. And we so often want to figure out why. You know what I mean? And granted, it's important to assess why are you feeling so tired? What are you doing that's causing this? However, the initial step is to stop it and go rest. You know what I mean? If your body's telling you you're tired, that means you need to rest. That means you need a break. And from that restful place, then clarity will set in. Then you'll be able to see yourself a little more clearly. Because just like with me, I was tired and exhausted. And it wasn't until I started really looking at, wait, I'm tired. I need to stop. That's when I was able to see what I'm doing. Before that, I thought, oh, I'm just taking care of the house. I'm doing the best I can, the most that I can, thinking that every second you got to be on go, and that's not true. And as you mentioned about hustle culture, it's like, no, God did not ordain that every second we keep going. Like, that's not it, and recognizing that our bodies are a powerful mechanism and our bodies are ceaselessly working. Like our heart is constantly beating, our cells are constantly generating, our blood is constantly flowing. So it's like the body is working even when we're resting. So we have to take into account how hard our bodies work. And when it's telling us it needs to stop, then we need to stop, because we don't want none of those important parts to shut down. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like either you stop while you can, or you will be stopped. And I mean, I say that from experience because I really do my due diligence to listen to my body. And granted, I find myself often doing too much and I got to reel it in. But I used to live like that until I got to a point where I couldn't. I was physically incapacitated. My body was like, you can't even move. You lucky if you could get up and walk to the bathroom. It's like,
Yes.
so now once I start feeling a little bit drained or like something's wrong, I'm like, okay, I got to respect my body, because if I believe that I'm on a mission and there's important work for me to do, I need my body to carry me through. You know, we need our bodies. And so it's important that we treat it with a little bit of love. Well, not even a little bit, with a lot of love and respect, because it's doing an important job and we can't live without it.
Yes. That, but like you were saying, the importance of just taking care of your body, I don't think that we prioritize that as much. Or sometimes we think that we are, oh, I'm good, I'm feeling good, I'm going. But it's like, no, sometimes you have to intentionally have those moments where you just take a break. Even if you're feeling good, you want to make sure that you're being intentional about it so that it becomes natural to you. Not just when, oh, I feel tired. No, give yourself breaks to give your mind and everything a break. And some a practice that I do when I start to get overwhelmed, because that's another way of your body, trying to speak to you when you get those headaches and stuff while you're working. Those are signals from your body telling you, trying to speak, you screaming to you at this point. If you got a headache or something, sit down. I need you to just, tune in with yourself. I need you to be still for a moment. That's really what it is, being still. But it can be a challenge to be still in a society that teaches you have to be on the go. You always have to be constantly going. And yes, we know that, but where's the balance in that? You can go and go so much until your body gives out. And I know for me, I've heard stories from plenty of women, just like ourselves, working, being mom, you know, having burnout, trying to go hard. They think, oh, I'm not seeing these profits. I got to keep going. And then they get these health issues and illnesses that literally have to make them sit down. And the thing is, we don't want to get to that point where we're not intentionally trying to harm ourselves and neglect ourselves to the point that, we just forget about it. But it's about tuning in with yourself and just slowing down. You don't want to harm yourself trying to get to or create the life that you desire. There has to be some balance. You have to have that time for work. You got to have your time for rest, and also throw in some time for play. It's all about having that divine balance. Because when I hear people say no days off, I say, wow, I spot I spot an imbalance. To hear people say no days off, it's like absolutely not, because I used to be one of those people. I could be a workaholic at times. So that's why for me it's very important. And that's what I'm also teaching women, to find that balance. But even sometimes myself, I may slip up. So it's a very, you have to take control of your life, and you have to be the leader of your life. And that's what we always speak about on this podcast, you being the leader of your own life. So something happens to you, who's going to take care of you better than you? You are your number one priority. And we say that all the time. This is the Discovery Within podcast. So this is about discovering who you are and knowing yourself on a deeper level, knowing all of you, not just surface levels things like, oh, what's my favorite car? What, that stuff, what's the word I'm trying to look for? The trivial things. We're talking about the deeper things. We're talking about your mind, your body, your spirit, your health, all of that, your physical. We talk about that too. We get so caught up in this hustle and bustle we're trying to do. that we're neglecting ourselves. We put ourselves last every time. And every time our health fails, that's a clear indication of an imbalance that sometimes we're not always taking care of ourselves. Now, granted, some things are out of your control, but most of the time, things that's going on internally can be prevented when you make sure that you're checking in with yourself. And like for us as women, making sure we get those frequent checkups, and for men as well. But it's very essential so that we can avoid these types of things, because you got to think about, your the type of environments you're in, like, and what type of, relationships, that connections that you have, because those things can take a toll on your body whether you know it or not. So like, have you ever noticed, like, when you're around a group of people, a certain environment, your energy, you may feel drained. You go to another environment, you may feel upbeat, you may feel happy, you jolly, you want to bounce around. Those are clear indications of your body letting you know what's healthy for you and what's not. So those little subtle signs that you get, sometimes you could get near a person, I know for me, and you could feel sick instantly. And that's your body's way of speaking to you and letting you know that this person may not resonate with you. And that's sometimes the most underrated and most overlooked clue and signal that we don't get in sometimes until it's late. But it's very important that we do um make sure that we tune in on our body. And I feel like this episode is just so serious because we're normally laughing and stuff. We're gonna get our jokes and stuff in, but this one is a very serious one, because I found myself, having to be put into that position. It's like, hold up now, hold up. This is what you're helping when you can't let yourself go lacking. So it's all about finding that balance, and having the right support system. People that are around you that can recognize and let you know, look, hey, have you checked in with you? And that's what's been going on for me. I'm grateful to have people in my corner, to check on me, but it's also on me to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. So it's
Yes.
important.
It's very important. And I mean, this is the Discovery Within podcast. So we're all really on this journey of self discovery. And what I'm learning is that, like, life is like an experiment. And I don't mean that you just like, testing things out, but kind of you are. Like, you're really just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? And that's something that I'm really learning to accept. Like, okay, I feel tired, so let me try this new structure in my schedule. Oh, that's not helping. Let me try something different as I pay attention to what my body is telling me it needs. Because, as I previously mentioned, our body is what carries us through this life. It deserves respect. If we expect it to do right by us, then we need to do right by it. It's just as simple as that, a give and take. And so, for me, I'm really learning myself and having to accept my truth. And
Hmm.
so, with that, it's like recognizing we're not all made the same. Some people can go, 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 go. Granted, nobody's designed to never stop. That's not it. We all need sleep. We all need rest. We need play, fun, a break. However, some of us can go more than others. And I'm realizing I'm not that person. Like, and
Right.
that's hard for me. Well, it's getting easier to accept, but that was hard for me to accept initially because I'm a very extreme person. Like, I go hard or I don't come at all. But
Right.
recognizing that me going hard doesn't mean me never stopping, and me having to learn what it means. So now I'm in a place where I'm learning that, okay, for me, going hard means that when I show up, I show up fully. It doesn't mean I just start and never stop and keep going, going, going like the Energizer Bunny. No, it means, okay, I'm here. We're doing this podcast. I'm going to show up fully and bring my whole self, which is a tremendous exertion of energy for me. So, therefore, I need to do whatever I need to do beforehand and after the fact to ensure that I have the energy to show up fully. Which means I can't be going too hard all day long and think I'm gonna show up here fully because I'm gonna be empty and I'm not, I'm gonna be showing up empty, not fully, which is not what I desire. But really learning that and coming to a place where I accept it. Like my energy is not always on go, go, go. I need a day where I do absolutely nothing and like really accepting that. You know what I mean? Oh, this day is a day off, so maybe I should be cleaning. Maybe I should be doing this. It's like, no, you should be doing nothing this whole day, giving your mind, your body a time to rest and a time to relax. And it's really up to each and every one of us individually to assess what is it that we need, because the world would have me think that something's wrong with that, or something's wrong with me, or that that's lazy, or that I'm not doing things I'm supposed to be doing. And for a long time, that's how I felt. Like, oh, taking a nap is lazy. And so, I mean, at this stage of the game, I worked so hard and I continue to work diligently every single day, to the best of my ability, that now I don't believe that lie. I know I'm not lazy. Ain't no way in hell I'm lazy. You know what I mean? But it took me a long time to get to that place. So now I can go take a nap knowing that this is an act of respect and honor for my body, not me being lazy. But, it's really for us to take a stand for ourselves and acknowledge our truth. Do you need more rest? Are you doing what your body is telling you it needs? Not what society is telling you. Not what, people are telling you, you got to work yourself to death. You got to burn the candle at both ends, this, that, and that. Because none of that is designed for your well being. As you mentioned before, we live in a capitalist society. So it's all about more, 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 sell, 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 money, 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 money. But money ain't going to save your life. Like, it's not. So it's for you to recognize you need to take care of yourself. And that's for you to assess what that means, what it means. And our bodies offer to us wisdom and insight. It lets us know, hey, something's off here. Okay, oh, this environment is not good for you. When you did that, that hurt you. Now you're injured, or whatever the case, and really taking heed to those feelings because they're for a reason, and as we slow down a little bit, then we can begin to assess what's going on. What am I doing? And the thing is, we oftentimes overwork ourselves thinking that that's for our benefit. Oh, I'm working, I'm trying to build this business, I'm trying to do this. This is so I can have a good future, so my family can have a good future. And it's like that's so far out of alignment, because how are you going to have a good future when you're hurting yourself? Like, it just don't go with each other. You know what I mean? And when we really slow down, then we can be that honest and take that honest a look at what we're actually doing. And for the most part, we're out here harming ourselves, calling it work, calling it productive, when really it's just us being lost in some sort of delusion that society is telling us that's how it goes. And I'm
Yeah.
here to let you know that ain't how it goes. You are the one that has to determine what is appropriate for you, because you're the one that's got to live this life, live in this body, and walk this thing out. And if you're not willing to take a stand for you, then who will?
That's right. And you said something that's so important when you mentioned about, we listening to what society, and those are one of the things that keeps us from actually, paying attention to our bodies and tuning in with ourselves, because it comes from that old programming and conditioning that starts, from when you're a child and coming on up, whatever you're taking in, whatever you're consuming, what you're seeing on the TV, what you're hearing your parents talk about, everybody in your environment, you're taking in all these things. And I know for most of us, we've been taught that you have to sacrifice yourself. It's selfish to not be there for your family. It's selfish not to be there for your friends. And it's like, what, I didn't hear anybody mention the person that's supposed to be taking care of themselves. Everything was all like we were taught a lot of things. Everything we was taught was having to do something with everything that was outside of us. So much so to the point that most of us don't even have our own mind. We don't even think for ourselves. We're not living for ourselves. We're just like a hamster on a wheel because we've been taught these things. No, this is the way it should be. Because you want to be, everybody has their own definition of success and want to be successful in their own right, in their own way. But when you're looking on the TV and tuning in, wherever you're tuning in, you're hearing all these different people telling you, this is the way to go. No, this is the way to go. You're here, and you're never connecting with yourself and actually sitting with yourself and asking, what do I want? Because it's like you said, you have to ask yourself these questions. What does your body need? So when it comes down to this, we got to let go of the conditioning and the programming that we've been taught, and we got to shut off all the outside noise telling us what's the best way to live. There's not no one way to live. There's many ways to live. This earth is full of plenty of diverse people, and we're all different. And for me, why this topic is so special to me is because, I'm certified in human design. So I do human design on chart reading. So it's based on your energetic blueprint, showing you how you're made up, the best way for you to navigate life. Everybody is not meant to navigate life the same way. We don't all have the same energy types. There are 5 different energy types that exist on this planet. They're different types. And like, I've done one for you. I've done a human design reading for you, helping you to understand your type. And I also understand mine. Now, for someone like you, if you don't mind me sharing,
No,
you're
I
so
don't. Oh, because honestly, I was when you did the reading for me, I was like, praise God, I knew I was not built for that.
yes, and I'm glad that you gave me that opportunity to help you with that, because I'm pretty sure it opened up some things for you and helped you to find that balance. You're a projector. Projectors don't have that life force energy like the manifesting generators do. I'm a manifesting generator. I have that strong life force energy within me. Manifesting generators are like the workers and builders of this earth. And the majority of the earth is a generator type. And the generator types, they are the people with all the energy. They are the workers. They got all the energy. They can work, work, work. But even with that, sometimes where I'm noticing manifesting generators are messing up is prioritizing breaks. Because we have that life force energy and we think we can go, oh yeah, I got the energy. We forget that it's all about balance. It's about moderation. So we're constantly going until our bodies are giving out. And then we're wondering, like, why am I burnt out? Did you check in with yourself? Have you been taking frequent breaks? And then someone like you don't have that same energy type as me. So you are someone who needs a lot of rest. Projectors just don't have the same energy type that generators do. And so I think that when we educate ourselves and, get to know ourselves on an individual level and know who we are, it'll better help us to take care of ourselves in a way that's unique to us, because we're not all meant to consume and, take in and do and go about life the same way. And so that's why the programming and conditioning is so hard to get out of for a lot of people, because we've been really conditioned to not think for ourselves. And so we're still listening to the outside. We're still looking at the world like, in order for you to be this, you got to do this. Like, no, that's not someone else's story. Is not your story. You're here for you. Can't nobody walk a mile in your shoes but you. Your shoes are fit and they're unique to you. So when we're talking about our bodies, you have to get to know your own body. How do you feel when you go around certain individuals? You got to think about that. Think about the many ways that your body speaks to you and gives you a signal that something is safe or, something is unsafe. It's down to like the simplest things. Because I know for me, I'm so aware of my body that like when I'm around people, say like someone, because I'm a hugger, I love to hug people, I love to touch. But if I hug a person or a person touches me and my body naturally jerks, I know that that person isn't necessarily for me. My body, the energy type, the energy, because anytime you touch someone, there's an energy exchange being transferred. So your body has ways of communicating with you. And as for the moms and stuff, when you're feeling stressed, what were the signals that did you notice leading up to you, feeling the stress? Did you have any headaches? You got to think about those things. Anytime something is going on with your body, that means your body is screaming to you. It's vital. I want you to sit down. I want you to be still. Sit down for a moment before I sit you down.
Right.
And sometimes some of us learn the hard way. And it's like you said, a lot of us are still figuring life. Nobody has life figured completely out, because if they did, we wouldn't be here. But when you take that moment for yourself to just sit down, and of course it can be a challenge, but you have to make the decision and the choice to say, this is what I'm going to do for me. And you have to be intentional about yourself, especially when we're talking about self-discovery, self-care, self-love, all that. It takes you being the leader of your own life and just your better you, mind, body, all of that, where you're not neglecting yourself at all. Because, like we said, some of us are working 9 to 5, some of us are running business, and then sometimes we forget being a mother is a job in itself. So there's many hats that you're wearing. That those are a lot of tasks. So sometimes we think, oh, this is. Sometimes we forget that being a mother is a job. Sometimes, because I know for me, sometimes I feel like that that's a job too. So trying to balance it all and not take care of yourself in the midst of like life and all the different things that you have to do can be very detrimental to your health. So that's why it's important that in order for you to show up, your body must be taken care of. So that means that rest, sleep, all that must be prioritized. And resting doesn't necessarily have to include sleeping. Those are two different things. So like when you're scheduling your breaks, you can get a moment to just rest. And resting means you tune out the world. Turn off all your devices, no TV, go sit outside, get some fresh air, breathe. And another thing that helps me and I'll share with the audience is doing mindfulness practices when you have these breaks. So deep breathing exercises, because sometimes most of us aren't even breathing properly. And I feel like a lot of us really underestimate the power in just breathing. Breathing holds so much power. And I know a lot of people say they deal with, anxiety. And it comes from you not really just being in tune with your body and just being one with it, being in the now, and just breathing. And when you do deep breathing, you're really focusing on your breathing. You're focusing your attention, your mind, everything right here in the now. So that gives you that focus so that you can tune in with your body and it'll help you to be relaxed. It'll help bring you into that calm state. But it's a daily practice. That's the thing about it. It's every day because you got to carry this body with you every day for the rest of your life until you're gone. So why not make sure that you're taking care of your vessel, especially like if you have children. I know most of us want to be able to see our children grow, see them do great things, have fun with them, get all the experience that we can with them. But how can we do that if we're not taking care of our bodies and to make sure that we're around for ourselves and around to be with our children and do the things that we want to do?
Amen. You are preaching good. I'm sitting here absorbing it because I'm like, you are talking to me. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, something that I'm learning as well is, our body is our vessel. And so it's what contains our spirit and it's part of nature and part of this whole divine design that's going on. So there is this divine intelligence to it, this intuitiveness to it. And so sometimes it's telling us things that we're not privy to logically or rationally. And so it's for us to heed that. Because I know for myself, there'll be maybe a week where I'm like, man, I keep getting the signal to rest, and so, I'll heed the warning, but I don't know exactly what's going on. Then the next week will come and it's a crazy week. And I'm like, thank God I was resting last week. Like, clearly my body was giving me a clue that something was about to go down. So I needed to be energized for it. And so I share that just to say, like, we don't know what's coming next. And the objective is for us to be able to make it through this life for the long haul. As you were mentioning, see our kids grow up, see different things come to fruition. And if we are not taking this long range approach, then we're not going to make it. So that really just means that each and every day we have to be doing the things that are going to allow us to maintain, to be sustained throughout this journey of life. Otherwise, we are not going to be able to make it successfully or strong or to the parts that we really do want to see. You know what I mean? Because what is the life experience if you're not well? It sucks. You know what I mean? What's the feeling that comes with you not feeling well? It makes life dreadful. It makes life difficult. And our objective is to complete the goals that we have, to fulfill the things that we were sent here to accomplish. And we can only do that by taking appropriate care of ourselves and our body. And we talk so much about, self care and self love. And ultimately, that's what taking care of your body is, an aspect of self care, an aspect of self love, because it's part of you, it's part of who you are. And I know for myself, growing up, I was raised by a very hardworking mother. My grandmother was very hardworking. My stepfather was extremely hardworking. So all I saw was people working hard. Like, that was it. Self care. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I was told self care was selfish." For me, self care was non-existent. That wasn't even a thing. Like, that didn't even exist. Nobody even mentioned that word. I didn't hear that until a few years ago. You know what I mean? So it was like, you work hard, you make this work, you do what you got to do, you put your back into it, you go, 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 go. And so that was the example that was set before me from childhood. And so that was the behavior that I modeled, because I thought, okay, that's how you do it. Everything to be all right. You work, 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 until I got to a point where I was no longer physically able to sustain that. And I had to accept, wait, this is not for me. This is going to kill me. Like, I'm practically dying. And if I keep going this way, it's going to literally kill me. And so I really had to accept that I got to figure out, my way, because I can't do it this way. And so that really is teaching me how individual we are, how there's not a one size fits all model, and how our bodies are part of who we are. And if we're not respecting and caring for our bodies appropriately, then we're not respecting ourselves. You know what I mean? We walk around wanting people to respect us and thinking that, people got to treat us a certain way. Meanwhile, we walking around disrespecting ourselves by not honoring our bodies, not honoring our feelings, not honoring rest and breaks and things of this nature. Meanwhile, what we're doing is projecting outward that disrespect. And that's why it's coming back at us from the outside as well. It's like we have to set the tone for who we are, who we believe ourselves to be, how we want to conduct ourselves, and what expectations we have from others. And we do that by first honoring ourselves, first loving ourselves, first respecting ourselves. And we do that by beginning to listen to our bodies. Our bodies are talking to us. It's talking to you all the time. As you mentioned, you got a headache. That means something's wrong. Like, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world, but that means something's wrong. Like, you're you were not born with a headache. So something's occurred to cause that. So the initial response is to work to alleviate it, which maybe means sit down, maybe drink a cup of tea, maybe get some fresh air, drink some water, whatever the case. But it's for you to figure it out, because we take care of our machinery. You know what I mean? We have a car, we oil it, we put gas in it, we do this, that, and that, and that, and we maintain it appropriately. But then our body, we're not doing that, and we expect it to just keep going, 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 going. And meanwhile, where's the logic in that? Our body is a living vessel. This other thing is just a hunk of metal. You know what I mean? Why is it that we're treating it with more love and care than with the vessel that is bestowed upon us? And this body is a gift. You know what I mean? And that's something that I'm constantly doing my due diligence to, like, just learn and embrace and accept, because I believe myself to be on divine assignment. I'm like, I'm here to carry the message of the Lord to the people, a message of empowerment, of love, of peace. And like, with that, am I going to be well rested to show up appropriately as a powerful representation of the Lord? Or I'm going to be out here like falling apart? Like that? What? I better put some respect on God's name. You know what I mean? And not even that, just for myself as well. Um, just really trusting and utilizing my faith to know that God wants me to show up strong. So if that means go take a nap, then I got to do it. If that means rest a little bit, then I got to do it. If that means to whatever to take a week off, then I got to do it believing and trusting that God is going to bring to pass what God has ordained. It's not for me to go out here running amok thinking that I have to do everything all by myself, because that's completely and totally out of alignment.
Yes. And as you were speaking, I was thinking about when you said you didn't hear anything about self-care when you was coming up. And I can honestly say, like, that's the same for me. I've never heard anything about self-care. Self-care is something that's like something that's new to the world. Like it just came out because we were not raised with that type of behavior, that conditioning, but it goes back to you know deprogramming from what we were taught, because like you said, we witnessed mama, daddy, whoever working. That's all we ever seen. Work, 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 in and out. We barely even really knew our parents, and our parents barely knew us. It's like we're on a hamster wheel. We're chasing, a dollar. We're trying to survive, and it's like, you forgot you're a whole person over here. You forgot you have children, a whole family, and we neglect those things because we think, okay, well, I have to do this. I'm putting a roof over my family's head, but it's like, what about your health? Because if your health declines, then there won't be anybody to provide the roof over the head because your body is gone. And it's like we're working and we're working and we're going and going. Like, where you working? Working yourself into the grave? Because that's exactly what's going to happen when you don't take care of your body. But when you grown up and you never really seen it, now there's years of conditioning that you have to decondition from. So that means being intentional every day and unapologetic about taking care of yourself and getting to know yourself, knowing your body, everything about you, inside, especially inside and out, because it's more so internal than anything. And our body is always speaking to us. And so sometimes when our body speaks to us, I don't even think that we're not aware of it, most of us. We just ignore it. That's the thing. A lot of us ignore, and I know I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Because that's what happens to me. So it's like when you hard headed, those are the things that come about. So instead, when those small things happen, like, all right, that's a warning for you. Get with yourself. Take a moment. Take a break. And give yourself that. But then you got to think about when we were coming up. If you didn't do what your mama or your daddy told you to do, or you just sitting around watching TV, being a kid, playing games, what did you get called? You get called lazy. And that word lazy, I think no one wants to be associated with the word lazy because it comes with a bad connotation. That's what we heard coming up. You're lazy if you don't do this, because everybody around us is constantly going, working, working, working. But when you really think about it, now that we're on the topic, those people who, our family members that were around us that work, 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 I don't ever really remember or recall a time or ever seeing them just genuinely happy.
Mm.
They worked. True enough, they did. They were no strangers to working hard, working. If they was giving out awards for hard workers, a lot of us will have awards. But that body, that fulfillment, that emotional health, that mental health, they wouldn't get a trophy for that. Because those are the parts of us that gets neglected when we're so caught up in the hustle and bustle. We trying to survive. We trying to go. We trying to get it. Yeah, of course, get it, because by all means, life is work anyway. You're gonna have to do some work, but we're talking about finding the balance. When your body is giving out and giving up on you and screaming to you, I need you to pay attention to me. That's a problem. And it needs immediate attention, because the unexpected can happen at any time. We may be thinking that it's something small, that's nothing. Small things can lead to bigger things.
Mm-hmm.
Unchecked, if we're not taking care of it. So essentially, when we're growing up and we're seeing this is the program. This is what we're taking in. This is what we're consuming. Oh, this is what I got to look forward to when I'm an adult. Work, work, work. But there's no time taken to be with self, to take care of self, to talk to self, to nurture self, to love on self. To take care of your body is to love yourself. That's number one. Because when you wake up and you get to walking, you moving these limbs, that's your body getting you to and where you need to go. How can you do that if you're not making sure that you're taking care of it? The way that, like you said, how we take care of our material things, our cars and stuff, we put so much stock to. Oh, that's my car, that's my baby. Giving the cars names. Well, what about your health? What about you? That's great. You take care of your cars, you take care of your clothes, you take care of your shoes. You look nice, dressed up, but you're sick.
Mm.
That's an imbalance.
Mm.
You fresh, you look good, you look fly, but your heart could be failing. You're neglecting what you need to be paying attention to what's going on the inside of you. And so that goes back to we put so much focus on the things outside of us, other people's opinions, our cars, our children, husbands, boyfriends, whoever they are to you. We put so much focus being and showing up for other people that we don't even go as hard for ourselves as we do for the things and people outside of us. And then sometimes, you know how we had the episode about victimhood, we look back and then we sit up in the hospital, laid up in the bed somewhere. When you look around, who's laying with you?
Mm.
No one but you. Isn't that ironic? Everything always leads back to you, no matter what you focus on the outside, whatever. Everything will always lead you back to you. Why? Because you are the only person that will be with you for the rest of your life. So when we talk about being the own leader of your life, that requires work. When you take that time for yourself to rest, to recharge, meditate, deep breathing, whatever, to get in tune with your body and make sure you're taking care of yourself, going to the doctor's visits, checkups, all that. That's work too. That's work. That's real work. I don't think we talk about that kind of work enough. Yes, we have to go to work. Yes, we run these businesses. Yes, we keep rules. We have to keep the roof over our head, food coming in. We got to take care of our cars and stuff like that. But what's more value? You gonna place more value on the people, places, and things outside of yourself, or are you gonna place that value within? What about you?
Yes. Well, you are coaching me because I'm like
Oh my
soaking
goodness.
up every word. I'm like, yes, I need to hear all this. And I mean, it's so powerful, everything that you said, because it's like, yeah, that's the work that we're not taught. We're taught to be out here chasing money. That's really what it comes down to. That's like, why are we working if it's not to, we say, oh, it's to take care of my family, to, it's no, it's for money. So therefore, we're placing this value on money that supersedes our own well-being, that supersedes our body, our mind, our own life force energy, ultimately, because we're giving all of what we have, our whole energy, our whole body, our whole well-being, our sanity, in order to pursue money. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, ain't nothing wrong with money. We all need money. Money pays the bills, and it's a necessary tool. However, really recognizing what is the true value in life. It's life to be alive. Like, you know what I mean? You wouldn't need nothing else if you're not alive. And recognizing that for us to maintain our life and to value that in the place of high priority that it deserves is what our main responsibility is. It is the work that you're speaking of. You know what I mean? And we think that work is only about going out to get a paycheck. And it's like, no, the true work of life is for you to be responsible for caring for your vessel, caring for your mind, caring for your purpose, tending to that, and the things that have been entrusted to you. And ultimately, granted, we work so hard and we say it's for our family, it's for our children. Our children, yes, they want to live in a comfortable house, but at the end of the day, they want you. They want a happy mom. They want a parent that's present. They want someone who's able to run, jump, play with them. You know what I'm saying? They are not looking forward to all the hours that you spent at work. They looking at it like, where you been at? You know what I mean? When are you coming back? And it's like, even for myself, my parents were always working. I was like, I had my own keys for my house at 6 years old. I was walking home from school, home till 8 o'clock at night by myself because my parents were working. Granted, they were doing the perceived right thing, but where was I? Left to my own devices. You know what I mean? Figuring out life for myself, making these distorted perceptions of how life goes because nobody was there to guide me. And I'm not faulting my parents by any means. They were doing what they believed to be best. So, I appreciate the work ethic that was instilled in me, but I do recognize how, okay, I got to a point where I got to deviate from that path because that's not the one for me, and recognizing that it's like the things that actually matter are your time, your energy, where you're putting that. Are you sowing seeds of time, love, and care into yourself so that you can show up as your best self? Because if you're not doing that, then you're not showing up as your best self. You know what I mean? And it's like that's what the true work is. Finding the balance. Granted, we all got responsibilities we got to take care of. Nobody's saying to, not take care of what you got to take care of. But it's about finding the balance of taking care of the main priorities, which needs to be you. It needs to be you. You know what I mean? It's like even now, my children are happy right now. They weren't always. My older daughter, who's 24 right now, there were times where our relationship was very strained. And why? Because I was very ill. How do you think that impacts her watching her mother die? Like that doesn't, you know what I mean? She was happy. No, she was depressed. You know what I'm saying? And it's like now my children are happy. Everyone's doing well because I'm doing well, because I'm happy. So now we're able to laugh together, to joke together. My older daughter is able to see my progress. My other children are able to approach me with an issue because they're not like, oh my God, I don't want to push mommy off the deep end. Really recognizing that you are setting the tone for everything that you touch. You want your children to be well, then you got to be well because you're modeling that behavior to them. So it's like, it's more about what you're doing than what you're saying. They're watching you and they're going to conduct themselves similar to how you're conducting yourself. So if you're showing them that it's okay to neglect themselves, to prioritize work and other things above their self, above their well-being, even above their own happiness, then that's how they're going to do, because they are going to remember this is what my mom did or this is what my father did. So that must be how it goes. And it's for us to break those cycles, to set a clear foundation, not only for ourselves, but for the next generation. Because, like I said, we're modeling these behaviors. And if we don't make ourselves the priority and start loving ourselves, then we're just continuing to maintain this same cycle of brokenness. And it doesn't have to be that way. We have the power to make the change. And it starts with us really prioritizing ourselves, recognizing how valuable you are, how much you matter. And it's for you to value yourself that much. Recognize this body is a blessed vessel of God. Like, that's it. Receive it as that. Treat it like that. Love it like that, so that you could go out here and shine as bright as you possibly can. And I mean, we all say, oh, I'm out here shining, and people think that means because they put on a lot of makeup. It's like, no, it's something that occurs from the inside when you have knowledge of self, because you know that you matter. And you only know how much you matter when you treat yourself like you matter, because then you feel like you matter. And that's how you ultimately come out in the world and shine and be your best self. So you matter, you're valuable. Love yourself and listen to your body, because your body will tell you when it's time to stop, when it's time to rest, when you need a break. So it's like, even with that, we're ultimately not all alone out here. It's like the body is telling us, it's our partner, it's helping us, it's letting you know you don't even got to figure it out yourself. The body will tell you, hey, it's time to stop. And you just say, okay, body, thanks for the heads up, and go lay down.
Everything you said just was so powerful because it makes me think about, when typically we hear about self care, some people think that, like, as far as women, oh, get your hair did, get your nails did, toes did, and things like that. No, we talking about something deeper. Yes, that's an aspect of it, but we're talking more holistically. We're talking about your well being, that internal, making sure you're nurturing that as well as your physical. So self care can be like a form of getting a massage or something. Because as a mama, you're trying to balance everything. You may be tense and stuff, and sometimes your body just needs that time to relax and get you somebody that can work out all that tension that's in your body. That's a form of self care. Because in order for you to even show up to a 9 to 5, your business, to be active, to be productive, it requires a body that is able to be productive. So that means we have to be making sure that we're prepared for these tasks and these titles that we have in the world. We can't perform, we can't show up, we can't do anything without this body. We can't be there physically if we're not taking care of this body. And it's another thing that makes my left cheek itch when people say you're supposed to do it, you're supposed to go hard, you're supposed to show up no matter what, no matter how you feeling. Yes, I get that, because if you saying I don't feel like it, and that's your reasoning for why you're not showing up, okay, we ain't talking about that, because get to work. That's not a good enough reason for you not to show up. But if your body is physically not allowing you to do much, you can barely hold your head up, you should not be hollering, I'm going to show up no matter. You are sick. Your body is screaming for help. That is detrimental. That is actually toxic. I hear a lot of people screaming. I'm like, so no matter how you're feeling, so you mean to tell me that if I almost blacked out this morning from being heavily dizzy, that, oh, just forget about that. Show up anyway. I've been having this massive headache for going on for about 3 days. But it doesn't matter how you feel. Show up. That's toxic. That's detrimental. And it's not teaching people what beneficial to them. And you also, like you said, something that you mentioned, because being a mother, a parent, your children are watching you. So whatever you're doing, you're the model for them. That's the behaviors that you will be teaching them. That's the mentality that they will carry on into the world when they become adults and they become their own people. They will still be working out of that mentality of you got to keep going. But we're so focused on work, we're so focused on our goals and trying to get to this lifestyle or whatever, that we're neglecting ourselves. We forget to be in the present moment. And in that present moment, we have ourselves to nurture. Don't you like to laugh? Don't you like to have a good time? You have children. Wouldn't you like to spend time with them and just be a kid yourself? I know I do. But it takes you being intentional about the things that you want for your life. Yes, you can. Ain't nobody saying don't go after your goals. We saying make sure you're taking care of yourself so that you're able to pursue your goals, so that you can actively show up healthy, whole, not half empty, not on a half empty cup. You need to be full when you show up to all these roles and stuff that you have in this world. As a mother, at that job, business owner, it does not matter what role you play. In order for you to show up physically, you must be well. Mentally, you must be well. Emotionally, all of that. And some days you're going to have your days where you not all the way there. And that's okay. It's about balance. Everything is not going to be one way all the time. You're not going to be just going and going and going and think, oh, yeah, that's how I'm going to. No, because there's going to be a time when something's going to sit your butt down, and it may be your body. Unexpected things happen all the time. So being intentional about making sure that you incorporate breaks and figuring out what brings balance for you, what helps you to stay in balance so that you're not being burnt out, because that's a real thing. A lot of us are burnt out. We're not taking that time for ourselves. We're not saying no. We always picking up our phones. We always being yes men, not saying no. So you have to be an advocate for yourself, because that's what it means to be the leader of your life.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, our time is up, so I just want to just close out with one final thought. And it's like, yes, you have to be the leader of your life. And ultimately, you are the leader of your life. It's a given. There's no escaping it. So, where are you leading it? Like, that's the whole thing. Wherever it's going is because you're leading it there. If you don't like it, then it's time for a change. And, really recognizing that we are powerful and we are creating at every given moment. We're manifesting our experience through our energy, through our behaviors, our words, and the things that we're doing. And so it's so important for us to really take ownership of that and recognize, what are you manifesting? Are you manifesting harmony or discord? Because disrespecting your body is not manifesting harmony. Therefore, things are not going to go well. That's just it. Simple as that. You think you're working on your business, sacrificing your health. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the scales will be balanced, which means you neglect yourself now, you're going to have to take care of yourself later. And who wants to get to the place where it's too much? Like, there's from it. You know what I mean? So it's really about us taking ownership in the present moment, as you mentioned, and doing right by ourselves, ensuring that we are creating harmony within ourselves. Meaning, if I don't feel well, then I treat myself with love and care to bring harmony, to bring care, to bring healing, to bring whatever's necessary. So that way, that's what I'm manifesting in my experience. And when we do right by ourselves, everything else takes care of itself. Then you feel well, then you're energized, then you're able to go out and work hard, then you're able to take good care of your children and your family, then you're able to think clearly, to be.
Oh, yeah, the back end. There you go.
Okay, you still see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, yeah, my screen flipped. But anyway, I'm done. So that's really it. Just knowing in closing that you got the power, and it's up to you to love, to care, and to respect yourself, and to take care of your body, because it's your vessel. And if you do right by your body, it'll do right by you.
That's right. And like we always say, whether you're just beginning your journey or you've been on your journey for a while, know that there's always room for more self discovery and personal growth. Until next time, we'll see y'all next episode. Have a
All
good one.
right, peace.